I grew up, the first house we lived on was on West 77th between Detroit and Franklin. St. Coleman's Parish. We lived next door to my grandparents, and we lived in the top of a double. And I had great parents, loving parents that you couldn't have asked for anything more. My dad was a high school teacher and a wrestling coach. And although we were Roman Catholic, our secondary religion was wrestling. Started out in capital markets and sold bonds and traded, and then ultimately traded bonds, and then went over to the public finance area. Ultimately quit the bond department, went over and formed the financial institutions group at McDonald. Did that relatively briefly, about a year, and did work with banks and insurance companies and REITs, real estate investment trusts. And then, I don't know how it happens, but headhunters started calling. And I ended up taking a job in Houston and commuted for 4 years. I was assistant coach on my daughter's soccer team while I was in Houston. We need to create a demand for workers. We have it going right now. There's not enough workers. There's 6.5 million jobs open in the United States, and we can't fill them. And it's not with immigrants, it's with training. We have not done the job we need to do. When globalization started, we could not stop it. And the businesses that fought it were going to go out of business, and they have. The businesses that have survived and taken their production elsewhere have survived, but a lot of those workers, there were winners and losers. But overall, if you're an economist and you look at the benefits of free trade, the country as a whole is wealthier. Both countries that are engaging are wealthier. But you know what? It didn't go to all the right people. It was uneven, and some people got hurt. If our government's going to enter into free trade, the unintended consequences were that a lot of people without the skills would be put out of work. We, as a responsible nation, need to make sure those people understand what they have to do and help them get there. I'm running for office because, and I guess I found this out from talking to a lot of the people in the state, because that's what I've been doing, and they feel the same way. I am tired of career politicians. The Senate role is pretty important to what happens in the U.S. And we have people that are elected to office right out of school. They run for office, they learn how to raise money, they learn how to win elections, and they get into office and they're running for the next seat or the next office that's higher up. And what do they really learn about the real world? And in my case, I've spent my entire life learning about the real world. And we've got big issues with our economy. We have big issues with healthcare. And I've spent my whole life understanding how business works, which is an important part of the economy, and understanding how healthcare works. And I felt, when I was a kid, as I've grown, I've always had great respect for the people that are elected to office. And what I've realized over a period of time is these are just people that learn how to run for office. And I don't think they have the experience that I have assembled through this whole life of mine to take to that office. I don't think they know as much as they should know, and I don't think they're prepared. And I don't think our founders intended when they came up with the idea for our government that we would have people that would never spend any time in the real world. And I've had enough. And I'm going to go out there and win this election. And hopefully I'm going to start other people that have a calling, that want to do this, that have never run before, and make them realize it isn't the most horrible thing in the world. And that I don't have to worry about what people are going to say or make up. And if they do, I'm going to have to take it. But I'd like to start a whole movement in that direction if I can, where people that are competent and have succeeded in other aspects of life take that success and that competence into office. And I'm hopeful this is the first step. I guess Donald Trump paved the way in a certain way, and there's been others, and I think we need to do it in Ohio. I also believe that we have the wrong person representing us in the U.S. Senate. I don't think his views are compatible with most Ohioans. I think he's way left of the average person in Ohio, and it's very important that we beat him in this next November or November after this coming November. And I think a lot of my friends, we talk about this probably more than we should, but my belief is that the guy that ran against him the last time, Josh Mandel, doesn't match up very well with him. And he's already lost to him once, and I think every Ohioan should be concerned that Josh, if he does become the Republican nominee, that he can't beat Sherrod Brown. And I believe I can beat Sherrod Brown. I believe I match up with him well.